Hello and welcome to today's video all about the Young Living Compensation Plan as well as Young Living terms that are important for you to know as you're building your business. Okay, so we're just going to jump right in here. And again, like I said yesterday, I want to encourage you if you're like, oh, yep, I know these. Awesome. But I want you to think about, could you explain them to somebody else and practice explaining them to somebody else? Sit down with your husband or one of your older kids or your friend and be like, can I practice on you? Okay, does this make sense, right? And just play with it because it takes practice to be able to explain these well, okay? So the first term that we're going to start out with is retail versus distributor, okay? Or wholesale customer, right? So a retail customer is somebody that just buys oils and products at retail, right? Okay, pretty simple. A wholesale customer or a wholesale distributor is somebody that has purchased a starter kit or gotten a wholesale membership, and then they get the oils at a discount, 24% off. Now, the name distributor throws people off a little bit, and so I like to tell them, hey, you're not required to distribute anything. There is no sort of business requirement in this at all. In fact, the majority of Young Living members, like upwards of 90%, do nothing with the business side. They are happy, oily users, right? A lot of them are on essential rewards. They order every month, but they're really happy to just order oils and use them in their homes and not building a business. And that's fine, right? But that's just that's something that people ask me sometimes is, well, I don't want to be a distributor. I'm like, it's okay. You don't have to distribute anything. All right. So let's talk about some of these other terms, okay? Sponsor, enroller, upline, downline. What do those things mean, okay? We're also going to talk about PV, OGV, PGV. All these are going to be really important when you're looking at the compensation plan and wanting to understand it. Okay, so upline, let's start there. So we are part of a Young Living team, right? And if you're watching this video, I am your upline. Hooray! Hello, I'm Sarah. It's so nice to meet you. Okay, so sometimes you'll have people be like, I don't know who my upline is. I'm so disconnected. And I'm like, hello, I am your upline. And I am here to support you and help you and walk with you any way you need it. So I'm your upline. We have other people in our upline. Give you some names: Alyssa Francis, Danette Goodyear, April Pointer. They are all in our upline, going all the way back up to, I don't actually even remember where it starts, but we have a lot of people in our upline. And then there's people in between me and you. You guys are all in my downline. And so there's other people in between us, most likely. And so you have more upline even in between me. And one of the things I do in my business is that I encourage people to work with whoever in their upline they need to, right? Because people are wired differently, there's different personalities, and my heart and goal is for people to be supported. And so I work with people no matter where they are in my organization. Like, you might be 17 levels down from me, and I'm not gonna say, sorry, you're too far away, I'm not gonna help you. I'm like, okay, you're on my team, let's go, let's run together, right? So I encourage you to have that same kind of a heart attitude as your team grows. And also that to allow upline to be happy when upline reaches out to your team and contacts them, right? Like if Alyssa reaches out and contacts you guys, I'm happy to have her do that because we need each other, right? And I just want that freedom and that culture and that community of like, we're on the same team and we love each other, and these layers of support are really important, okay? So that's upline. Downline's all of you guys. So for you, wherever you start, you are the head of your little team, right? And so everybody underneath you is your downline. That's what it's called. Now, what is this crossline idea? So a crossline idea would be somebody that has the same upline, but you're in different areas in the organization. Okay, so let me pull out my little marker and we're going to draw here. All right. Let's see. Davey coached me on which marker end I should use so that you guys would be able to see it. I love it. He's so sweet. He's 12. Y'all, I love this age. Like, yeah, it's just really amazing. Okay, so here is you. Okay? And then up here is your sponsor. Okay, so your sponsor is, can y'all read that? Can you read that? Probably not. Okay, I'll try to write big. Your sponsor is the person that you are directly underneath, okay? That's your sponsor. So for me, my sponsor is a gal named Cindy Campbell, okay? Alyssa is my enroller. She is the one that actually enrolled me, helped me sign up for Young Living, and then she placed me under Cindy Campbell. And we'll talk about placement stuff a little later in this video, okay? So whoever you're directly underneath is your sponsor, right? So you can know that name. The enroller is the one that signs you up and the one that gets the starter kit bonuses, the fast start bonuses, that kind of thing. But after those first 3 months, then we move to what's called unilevel commissions. And that's where my sponsor, Cindy, would start earning money off of me because she's my sponsor, right? So here you are. And then there are people on your front line. Okay, so we've got, I don't know if I should make that name. We'll just do level one, level one, level one. So these guys are all your level one. Okay, all your level ones. I encourage you as you're building your business to get about 10 people on your level one before you start placing people underneath. Okay, there's a number of reasons for that I'll get to in a minute. But you want to go about 10 wide. That's what that means. About 10 wide across, because that'll help you as you go. Okay? Then level one is going to enroll people. Boom, 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 boom. Level two. Okay? That's our level two. And all these guys can do that, right? They won't all do that, but some of them will. I'm drawing on myself. Okay. So then these level twos will enroll people, and here's level threes. And then that can continue indefinitely, right? And then we start, there's more things called generations and all kinds of things. But today, this video is gonna be from distributor to silver. So just for the simplicity's sake, and so the video's not too long, okay? So level one, level two, level three. So this is all downline. This is all upline. And then this is crossline. Level one here, level one there is crossline. Level one here, level three here, they're crossline because they're not in the same leg, right? Does that make sense? And so I love Crossline. Crossline is super fun, and some of my closest relationships in Young Living are Crossline friends. I mean, obviously downline friends, but I have Crossline where we just run together. I've got two gals, we're planning a retreat right now for other platinums in oily families, and we're Crossline. But we will collaborate on classes and meet up at convention and have lunch and just all kinds of different things. And cross-line relationships are so fun. They take time to develop though, just to encourage you. Be like, I don't have any cross-line relationships. Well, it takes time, and it happens at things like retreats and convention and just different things like that. And Facebook groups. I have met a lot of fun cross-line on Facebook. And so you've already connected in social media, and then you get to meet in real life when you go. So, all right, so we've got sponsor, enroller, upline, downline, crossline. Okay, PV is what I purchase, okay? So PV is personal volume, product volume, and that's my volume, okay? OGV is all of the volume for the entire organization. So everybody in my downline, all of their volume is my OGV, okay? Overall group volume or organizational group volume, right? Okay, that one's easy to remember. Now, PGV comes into effect when you start building legs and building ranks, and we'll talk about that. Okay, I want to say a little something about the Young Living compensation plan, because when I got started with Young Living, I had never looked at a compensation plan before, and so actually I ignored it for a good year and a half because I was like, this is too complicated, I don't understand, and I'm not really building anyway. So I just ignored it. And then when I started looking at it, I started studying it and paying attention to it because I want to learn how to capitalize on it, right? And how to make the most of it. And as I have looked, and now I know how to look at other companies' compensation plans and go, oh, or ooh, which most of the time it's ooh. Like one of Young Living's major copycats, I don't want to say competitors, one of Young Living's major copycats, their compensation plan is just really stinky in comparison to ours. And as I explain these ranks, it'll make a little more sense. Where we need volume in certain places, you have to have ranks in those places. And so what that creates is competition and pressure for people, because this person underneath you has to hit executive for you to be able to be a silver in the other compensation plan. And so all of a sudden you're like, that person has to be executive. What are you going to do to get there? Whatever, right? Like in the human flesh, whatever. But Young Living's not that way. Like you just need volume, and however the volume gets there is fine. And so it's great. And Young Living is so generous in their compensation plan. Like I've noticed different ways through the years where I'm like, oh wow, they really go above and beyond right there to be generous to us as distributors. They realize that we are their marketing team. We are the boots on the ground sharing, and they want to reward us and just be generous. And the heart of Young Living is generosity at the core. And so it just makes sense that it's in the compensation plan. But I really like that. So let's talk about some of these early ranks, okay? So the first rank is called, after distributor, if you're in Young Living, you're a distributor, right? So the first rank is called star. And for star, you need 500 OGV in a month, okay? So the beginning of the month, boom, everybody starts at 0 at the beginning of the month, okay? 500 OGV. And do you remember what OGV was? OGV was all of the group volume all the way across, including your own, okay? So yours counts. Average paycheck for a star was, these numbers might be a little bit different from yesterday because it might be a different year. Okay, so I'll just go with what's written down on here for today, okay? $75 a month for a star average paycheck. Okay, the next rank is called senior star. Woohoo, you're a senior star. So senior star is 2,000 OGV. So that means $2,000 worth of volume in your group in the month, and then you're a senior star. Yes, that actually happens quicker than you think it does. Remember in the, I'm still like, whoa, 2,000, man, that can happen really quick. Average paycheck for a month for a senior star is $235. Okay, now let's talk about executive. Executive is the first rank where the legs start to matter and the structure starts to matter, okay? Hopefully that will be clear enough. Okay, so executive. Okay, so here's you. Here's your level 1. Okay, I got a level 1 here, okay? And then I need another level 1. And what I need from these legs is I need 1,000 OGV in each one of those legs, right? So that means everybody underneath them is 1,000 OGV, okay? 2 legs at 1,000. And a leg starts when this person orders 100 PV themselves. So if it's just a 50 PV order, it's not a leg. But it becomes a leg when there's 100 PV order, okay? And then 1,000 OGV in that leg, 1,000 OGV in that leg, and 4,000 everywhere. Do you have a question?
So if it's 1,000 OGV in that leg, 1,000 in that leg, what if you're a senior star and you have 1,000 in each leg?
Mm-hmm.
Would you move on to executive, or so you would skip Wait.
No, you wouldn't move on to executive because executive, great question though. Executive has to have 4,000 OGV.
Oh, do you have to order 2,000 OGV?
No. Nope. And 2 legs at 1,000. So in here, this leg could be 2,000 PV, OGV. This leg could be 1,000. And then you could have, 800 out here and your order's 200, right? So however those add up right now for the OGV is fine. Doesn't matter. That 4,000 can come from anywhere. But you have to have 2 legs at least 1,000. And there's no particular rank in there that anybody needs to be. Okay? So you could have a whole line of stars or distributors, right, that are like 400, 400, 400, 400, and it all adds up to 1,000, right? Any way that adds up is fine. Okay, so then let's talk about silver. Oh, first, executive, average paycheck is $502 a month. That's groceries, half a mortgage payment, whatever, 2/3 of a mortgage payment, right? That's good stuff there, okay? Silver, this is your first leadership rank, okay? Silver is 10,000 OGV, 2 legs at 4,000, okay? 10,000 everywhere, 2 legs at 4,000, and 1,000 PGV. Okay, so I've alluded to this PGV a little bit, and now I'm going to explain what it is. Okay, so PGV, qualifying legs. This is another term for you, qualifying legs. So if I'm silver, or if I'm trying to hit silver, this leg's going to be at 4,000, 4,000, 4,000. This is a qualifying leg, and this is a qualifying leg. Okay, those do not count toward this 1,000 PGV, okay, because they're my qualifying legs. But I've got this other leg out here that's growing and going to be my gold leg someday, right? And so I've got, 800 in there, or 2,000 in there, or 8,000 in there, right? And so it's not my qualifying legs, right? So this plus this adds up to personal group volume, PGV. And you need this PGV every rank after silver, all the way up to diamond, crown diamond, royal crown diamond. You need 1,000 PGV. It's your non-qualifying legs plus your PGV, your own order, right? And honestly, once you get to diamond, crown diamond, whatever, a lot of those guys are ordering 1,000 a month anyway, so it's really not a big deal. But it's really, really, I have seen silvers not hit silver before because they didn't have the OGV. And I'm like, no, gosh. So that's one reason why when we were talking about going 10 wide, when I'm like, you want to go 10 wide so that you have your 1,000 PGV for silver. You don't want everything just in 2 legs and not anything outside of that, right? So you do the 2 legs and then you start to build wide as well. And then you're also growing more legs, okay? Because, and we'll talk about stacking theories and ways to do this. And maybe we'll do that now. Let me see where I'm at. Okay, we can talk about stacking, and then we're going to talk about rising star. Y'all doing good? All right. So stacking is when we were talking about placing people, okay? So which you're not going to worry about until you get to about 10 wide, right? With several of those on essential rewards. So when you are stacking somebody, that means that's what Alyssa did for me, right? She enrolled me and she placed me under Cindy. That's called stacking. Okay, and we use that to strategically build our business. So I'll give you an example. This was a really big example for me. When I got started, my friend Rachel was a blogger and just very entrepreneurial. And I knew that she would be amazing at this if I could get her started. So I enrolled her. She got on Essential Rewards right away. And so I enrolled my mom under Rachel. And then I built under my mom. So my mom's a silver now, which is such a blessing to her, y'all. Like, they're retired and they get $1,500 a month from Young Living without doing anything, really. Every now and then she'll say, oh, I could follow up with somebody, like once every 6 months. It's so sweet. And it's fine. I didn't enroll her with any expectation that she would do anything with the business. I just wanted to bless her, right? So I enrolled her, I built underneath her, and then you know what happened? Rachel got a paycheck because she was on Essential Rewards and ordering 100 PV every month. And she got that first paycheck and went, like, kind of like I did, where I was like, I didn't really do anything and I got a paycheck. She's like, I didn't do anything and I got a paycheck. The light bulb came on, that girl took off, and she's a crown diamond now. So that worked out really well for a lot of us. So that's one way to strategically use stacking, is to build under somebody that you feel like could really catch the vision, right? But they've got to be in on it too, in terms of at least committed to Essential Rewards, right? Another way that I use stacking, I'll give you an example. Another one of my legs, I enrolled Chris's mom. So Chris's mom is on my front line. She is not building. She hasn't hosted a class. I mean, my mom hosted some classes for us. She hasn't done any of that, and that's okay. Again, I had zero expectation of her doing any of that. We just wanted to be able to bless them. So I enrolled his mom, and then I put Lindsay Blake underneath his mom. And so then Lindsay she took off. And so I've done classes for her, and she's teaching, and she's got a whole team. Some of y'all are on her team. And so Lindsay's a silver now. And so because of the work that Lindsay's been doing, it blesses Chris's mom. And so they get a little paycheck every month. She's a senior star. And so that's so cool. And so when you're stacking, here's a couple of ways to think about it. One, it can really be a blessing for your parents, for your siblings, and it's willable, right? So my parents, their account, it's already in their will that it's gonna go, actually I don't remember if it's coming to me or directly to one of my kiddos, because you can will it. Isn't that amazing? Like, I think about that sometimes, like, okay, someday, hopefully a really long time from now, when my parents' account gets willed to like one of my kids, they've already got a start in life, and they're not starting at ground zero trying to find some income, right? Like, so cool. And then my kids can be enrolled when they're 16, right? So can yours. They can start building their own business when they're 16. So enroll it under somebody like, you know, your parents or a sibling or something like that. And then you can start building under them as long as they're willing to order 100 PV, okay? And what I say to that also is Chris's mom didn't order 100 PV in the beginning because she gets the products and uses them a little bit, but it's more about the blessing that the paycheck is for her, like just being real, right? And so what I coach in that kind of a scenario is saying, hey, order 100 PV when you're gonna earn at least 100 PV. And she does, and so it's worth it for her to order, right? Another thing I did was I put my brother under my mom, and so I knew he would be a really consistent top of the silver leg for her. And so he was on ER, he's ordering every month, and so I knew that she could hit silver because he was gonna order. And then another one of my very good friends is another leg for her, and then another one of my very good friends is gonna be her gold leg. And so that's really fun. I'm like, we're growing income, long-term income for my parents, and that's amazing. And then most of the rest of the people on my front line are friends that I've met along the way through Young Living who signed up, and I just left them on my front line. And then I've built underneath them, like combinations of different things, right? So when you're stacking, you don't want to go too deep. You want to stay within a few levels of where you are, so that you still get unilevel commissions off of them, okay? So we'll talk about that for a second. So you've got the Fast Start, the Starter Kit, and Fast Start bonuses that we talked about. And then we have unilevel commissions. So unilevel commissions are where you need to order 100 PV to get paid on that, okay? And you can watch that and say, okay, am I gonna make 100 PV yet? Or more than $100 yet? Is it worth it for me to bump it up if that would be the only reason why you bump it up, right? So, 100 PV, that's when it becomes a leg for you. So watch that when you're trying to qualify for silver, and make sure that those two people on top for your qualifying legs have ordered 100 PV so that you can hit silver. It's willable, good friends. Okay, how to move somebody when you want to do that. Many times of enrollment, I just have them put in my number and then it's easy, right? And then I can move them, as long as I'm the enroller, I can move them within 4 days on live chat and I can email them within 20 days. So you want to do that within 4 days or 20 days. If you wait any longer than that, then that is where they are. And I just ask the Lord, I just pray about things. I'm like, okay, Lord, where does this person need to go? Because he's the one that knows what they're going to do, right? And if they're going to someday take off and build a business or what's going to happen, and he knows where they should go. So I just pray and then do what I feel good about, right? Also, let's talk about you go to somebody's house and they're a member or they're going to become a member and you do a class for them. They are the sponsor for the new people. Okay, so yeah, I go to Tiffany's house and I do a class for her. Tiffany's going to be the sponsor for all those new people that enroll at her class, right? Most of the time, Tiffany will also be the enroller, okay? Because remember, the enroller is the one that gets that $50 bonus. In the very beginning of building my business, I had some different conversations with people depending on where they were at and where we were at. And sometimes I was the enroller at the classes, but not as often. But the enroller gives them the book, this reference guide that we mentioned. And so we pay for the reference guide out of that paycheck that Young Living is going to give us. And these are about $9. And so what I do when somebody else is going to be the enroller, like say I'm going to Tiffany's house to teach for her, I say, hey, one of the things I like to do is give people these reference guides, and they're $9. How would you feel about buying these reference guides from me to gift to your new people? And people are like, oh yeah, sure. I don't know that I've ever had anybody say, no, I don't want to do that. But I still ask, right? Like, so then they buy the book from me and I sell it to them at cost. You can do whatever you want, but I sell them at cost. And then they're the sponsor and the enroller. Okay, does that make sense? And we can have more dialogue about this. I know it took me a while to get sponsor and enroller figured out. Back in the early days, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have graphics, we didn't have groups, none of this stuff, right? So a friend and I spent like an hour on the phone one day trying to figure out sponsor and enroller. So look, we just did it in like 10 minutes. So ask questions and we can give you clarification as we need it. Okay, strategies in stacking. Okay, there's a couple of different ways to do this. One of the ways that you can do it, and the way that I did it, is I was very focused on getting to silver because we needed income and we needed it like today. And so I didn't spread out my stacked people throughout my front line. I concentrated them in my first 2 legs, okay? So that had a couple of effects. One, I got to silver quickly because I was focused on those 2 legs and we were doing a lot of enrolling, okay? You've got to be enrolling people to grow your business. But what that then translated into was that gold took longer. After I hit silver, it took a year to get to gold. And y'all, you could extrapolate out the time period, right? But I hit silver in like 3 months after I started building. Unicorn, okay? Don't look at that and be like, oh man, I have to hit silver in 3 months or I'm not any good at this, right? Like this was unicorn. It was the season. It was like blow up and it was all God, okay? So it's not the average, right? But so I hit it in 3 months and then it took a year to hit gold, okay? Could it have gone faster if I built a little bit wider? Maybe, but I needed silver and we needed to be able to pay bills, okay? So my encouragement now to you is to build for silver because then you've got income and then you also have that win where you're like, yes, I hit silver, like score. And it gives you so much energy and enthusiasm because you just achieved this major rank. And that is awesome. That is awesome. And so then, you're starting to build your gold leg as you go, okay? So let's talk about Rising Star bonus. So Rising Star helps you build, helps you spread things out a little bit. So the way Rising Star works is you have 3 people. Oh, look, 1, 2, 3. And they are all ordering 100 PV on essential rewards. Okay, for you to rank, that doesn't have to be on ER. It can be a quick order or an essential rewards order. But for Rising Star, it has to be 100 PV on ER. Then, when each of these legs has 300 OGV in them, so 300, 300, 300, then you get 1 share in the Rising Star bonus. And I think it's based on 1% of all of Young Living's commissional sales. So somebody that's gotten it recently can chime in here and say how much their share was. Last I heard, somewhere between like $70 and $90 a share. So that's really cool. So you get one share for that 3 people on 100 PV on ER and the 300 OGV. Then you get another share if you have 2 more people that are at 500 OGV, legs 4 and 5, also ordering 100 PV on ER. So that's 2 shares for that. And then you get 3 shares for legs 5 and 6 if they're at 1,000 OGV with 100 PV on ER. I'll post a graphic in the comments. But so you can earn up to 6 shares every month, and that is for stars, senior stars, and executives. Okay, so that's for you until you hit silver. You don't get rising star anymore once you hit silver, but once you hit silver, you get leadership bonuses. So that's awesome, okay? All right, let's see. There is a fun program called Elite Express. And so Elite Express is where you get prizes from Young Living for hitting ranks within a certain amount of time. And then I have a prize that if you are under a diamond on my team, then I can't extend it to you, so I'm sorry. So you can talk to your diamond about it. But if you're not under a diamond, so you're not under Rachel or Jenny, then what I'm doing is if you hit silver within 6 months of hitting executive, then I'm gonna send you an Aroma Complete kit. An Aroma Complete kit is this kit that's $2,000 worth of oils, okay? Isn't that amazing? It's amazing. And if you hit silver within 6 months of hitting executive, then I'm gonna send it to you for free. Yes. So that's a little bonus that I just do to you guys. So, all right, anything else I want to talk about today? Oh, a thing to practice, I meant to mention this yesterday, but a thing to practice and think through is, what is your Young Living story? If somebody's like, hey, why do you like oils? What is your 2-minute or 1-minute synopsis that you can give them about why they've been so life-changing for you? In whatever marketing world, they would call it a hook, right? So what's your hook to be able to say, hey, this is it in a bite-sized piece? So I want to encourage you, work on that, practice that. Why do you love it? So that you can tell somebody in a really condensed, short way. So, all right, I hope this has been helpful to you guys. Ask questions in the comments. And remember, if you watch and comment on every video in our series, then at the end, I'm going to draw a winner for a brand new starter kit. So, all right, thanks for listening.